Passport English Podcast.
Making English easy and fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Passport English. I am your host, JT, and I am joined as always by the wonderful and very energetic Maddie. How are you doing today, Maddie?
Oh, JT, I am doing fantastic. I am so excited for today's topic because, well, to be honest, sometimes I feel like my brain knows exactly what to say in another language, but my mouth it just won't cooperate. It is like my tongue gets into a knot.
You are definitely not alone there, Maddie. That is actually the number one complaint I hear from intermediate learners. They have the grammar down, they have the vocabulary in their heads, but when it comes time to actually speak, it feels like a physical struggle.
Exactly. It is like I am trying to run a marathon, but I have forgotten how to move my legs. It is so frustrating.
Well, that is why today's episode is titled Train Your Mouth to Speak English. We are going to stop looking at English as just a mental subject like history or math and start looking at it as a physical skill, like playing the guitar or training for a sport.
Oh, I love that. So we are going to the gym today? Like a mouth gym?
Precisely. We are going to talk about muscle memory and specific exercises you can do to make those English sounds feel natural and effortless. By the end of this 20-minute episode, our listeners are going to have a clear workout plan for their speaking skills.
I am ready. Let's get those mouth muscles moving.
So, Maddie, let's start with a basic concept. Why do you think it is so hard to pronounce certain words, even when you know how they are spelled?
Well, I guess because the sounds are just different. Like, in my native language, we do not have that TH sound. It feels so weird to put my tongue between my teeth. I feel like I am making a face at someone.
That is a perfect example. You see, speaking is a physical act. You have about 20 different muscles in your mouth and throat that work together to produce sound. When you speak your native language, those muscles are on autopilot. They have been trained for 20 or 30 years to move in very specific ways.
So it is like muscle memory?
Exactly. Muscle memory. When you start learning English, you are asking those muscles to move in ways they have never moved before. It is like trying to write with your left hand if you are right-handed. It feels awkward and slow because the neural pathways and the muscles themselves just aren't used to it.
That makes so much sense. So, if I want to get better, I can't just read books. I actually have to, train the muscles.
Right. And the first step in our mouth gym is something called shadowing. Have you ever heard of that?
Is that when I follow someone around and do everything they do, like a little kid?
Well, sort of. In language learning, shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker and you repeat exactly what they say at the same time or just a fraction of a second later. You are not waiting for them to finish the sentence. You are trying to mimic their speed, their rhythm, and their intonation perfectly.
Oh, wow. That sounds really hard, JT. Like, how am I supposed to keep up?
Well, you start slow. You pick a short clip, maybe 30 seconds of a podcast or a movie. You listen once. Then you listen again and try to hum the rhythm. Then you try to say the words along with the speaker. You do it over and over until you are perfectly in sync.
Okay, so it is not about just understanding the words. It is about the feeling of the words coming out?
Yes, you are training your mouth to keep up with the natural pace of English. It helps with something we call connected speech. You know how in English we don't say each word separately. We don't say I want to go to the store.
Right? It is more like, I want to go to the store. It all slides together.
Exactly. It slides. If your muscles aren't trained for that slide, you will always sound a bit robotic. Now, Maddie, I want to try a little exercise with you. I am going to say a sentence, and I want you to over-exaggerate the movements of your mouth. I mean, really make it look ridiculous.
Okay, I am ready. No one can see me anyway, except you.
All right, repeat after me and really stretch your lips and move your tongue. The phrase is red leather, yellow leather.
Okay, here goes. R red. Leather, yai, yellow leather. Oh man, my cheeks actually hurt a little bit.
That is good. That means you are stretching. This is what I call the over-exaggeration technique. When you are practicing alone, you should move your mouth more than necessary. It is like a runner who wears heavy weights on their ankles during training. When they take the weights off, they feel light and fast.
So if I practice by being really dramatic with my mouth, when I actually talk to someone, it will feel easier?
Precisely. You are building the strength and flexibility of your articulators. That is your tongue, your lips, and your jaw. Most learners are too afraid to move their mouths. They try to speak English while keeping their mouth almost closed. And that, well, it leads to mumbling.
Guilty. I totally do that when I am nervous. I just mumble into my chest.
We all do it, but if you practice these big movements, you build the confidence to open your mouth. Another great tool is the mirror. I know it sounds silly, but have you ever watched yourself speak English in a mirror?
No. I think I would just laugh at myself.
Huh, you probably would, but it is so helpful. For example, for the sound, you need to see that your tongue is actually peeking out between your teeth. If you can't see it, you aren't doing it right. Or for the F sound, your lips should be in a tight little circle. If you look in the mirror and your lips are flat, you are probably making a V sound instead.
Wow, I never thought about the visual part of it. So, shadowing, over-exaggeration, and using a mirror. That is a lot for a workout.
It is, but you only need to do it for maybe 10 or 15 minutes a day. Consistency is the key. You wouldn't go to the gym for 5 hours once a month and expect to get fit right.
Huh, no. I wish it worked that way, but it doesn't.
Unfortunately not. It is better to do 10 minutes every single day. Now let's talk about the schwa. The schwa sound, this is the most common sound in English, and it is the secret to sounding natural.
The schwa? It sounds like a character from a fantasy movie.
It sort of does. It is that very weak, lazy sound we make in unstressed syllables, like the A in about or the E in student. It sounds like
About? Stud? Und?
Exactly. If you try to pronounce every vowel clearly, you will sound very formal and, well, a bit strange. Learning to relax your mouth for the schwa is just as important as learning to move it for the hard sounds.
So, I need to be active and energetic for some sounds, but lazy for others?
You got it. It is all about contrast. English is a stress-timed language. Some parts are loud and long, and other parts are short and quiet. If you can master that rhythm, your mouth will feel much less tired because you aren't fighting the language.
This is so helpful, JT. I feel like I have been trying to drive a car without knowing how the engine works. Now I am starting to see the gears moving.
I am glad to hear that, Maddie. let's take a little break. And when we come back, we will look at some specific vocabulary from today's talk.
Okay, JT, that was an amazing workout. But before we finish, I want to make sure I really understand some of those great words and phrases you used. Can we do a vocabulary moment?
I would love to. I have picked out 5 phrases that are really useful for anyone looking to improve their speaking.
Perfect. What is the first one?
The first one is muscle memory. We talked about this earlier. It refers to the ability of your muscles to perform a movement automatically after repeating it many times. For example, after years of practice, typing on a keyboard becomes muscle memory. You don't have to look at the letters anymore.
Oh, I definitely have that for my phone. I can text without even looking. My thumb just knows where the letters are.
Exactly. In a sentence, you could say, I have been practicing the English R sound so much that it is finally becoming muscle memory.
That is the goal. Okay, what is number 2?
Number 2 is a funny one, tongue-tied. This is an adjective we use when you are so nervous or confused that you can't speak clearly.
Oh, I know that feeling well. Like when I meet someone famous or when I have to give a presentation in English and I just freeze.
Exactly. You could say, I was so nervous during the interview that I got completely tongue-tied and forgot what I wanted to say.
I have been there. Okay. Hopefully these exercises will help with that. What is the third one?
The third one is to mumble. This is a verb that means to speak in a low and quiet way that is difficult to understand because you aren't moving your lips enough.
Like when you are talking to yourself or you don't want someone to hear you?
Yes, or just when you are being lazy with your speech. For example, stop mumbling and speak up. I can't hear a word you are saying.
My teacher used to say that to me all the time. Okay, number 4?
Number 4 is to pick up on something. This is a phrasal verb. In the context of language, it means to notice or learn something by listening or watching others, often without even trying.
Oh, like how kids learn, they just pick up on the words their parents say?
Exactly. You might say, I lived in London for 3 months, and I really started to pick up on the local accent.
Nice. And the last one?
The last one is second nature. If something is second nature, it means you do it so well and so easily that you don't even have to think about it. It is almost like a natural instinct.
Like riding a bike?
Perfect example. In a sentence, I have been using English at work for so long that switching between languages has become second nature to me.
I love that. I want English to be second nature for me one day.
All right, Maddie, we have covered a lot today. Should we do a quick recap for our listeners?
Yes, please. So, point number 1. Speaking English is a physical skill, not just a mental one. We need to train our mouth muscles just like we train at the gym.
Spot on. And point number 2?
Use the shadowing technique. Listen to a native speaker and try to mimic their rhythm and speed at the same time. It helps with that, what did you call it? Connected speech?
You got it. And don't forget point number 3, over-exaggerate your movements when you practice alone. Don't be afraid to look a little bit silly in the mirror.
Right. Move those lips and that tongue. And finally, be consistent. 10 minutes a day is much better than 2 hours once a week.
Exactly. Practice makes perfect. Or as I like to say, practice makes permanent. If you practice the right way, those sounds will eventually become second nature.
Well, JT, I feel like my mouth has had a real workout today. I am going to go home and talk to my mirror for a while. Huh.
Just make sure your roommates don't think you have gone crazy, Maddie. But seriously, to all our listeners out there, give these techniques a try. Don't just listen to this podcast. Talk back to us. Shadow what we are saying right now.
Yes, do it. It really works. Thank you so much for joining us today on Passport English. We love having you here.
We really do. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend who is also on their English journey. It helps us out a lot.
And don't forget to check out our website for the transcript of today's show. Until next time, keep practicing and keep speaking.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Catch you later.